Now we will study external features of a mammary gland. In anatomy, external features means the parts of a body organ or structure that can be seen from the outside without cutting it open. These features describe shape, size, color, borders, surfaces, openings, projections or markings visible externally. So, simple diagrammatic understanding. Okay, breast means mammary gland. So, it is made up of, or you can say, the mammary gland consists of parenchyma and stroma. Parenchyma is nothing but a glandular tissue, and stroma is divided into two, fibrous and fatty tissue. We have already seen. Okay, so in external features of a mammary gland, skin, it divided into two, nipple and areola, and then parenchyma is again divided into three. But how we divided it? Glandular part. Okay, parenchyma is a glandular tissue, so it's a glandular part. And then why second and third option, fibrous stroma and fatty stroma, is there? Because in stroma there are two options. First is fibrous stroma and second is fatty stroma. You can even write down in a tabular format or in a chart format that the mammary gland consists of parenchyma, glandular tissue, and stroma, fibrous and fatty tissue. So you can make two columns, parenchyma. There you can write alveoli, ducts, and in stroma you can write fibrous stroma, fatty stroma. In some books it is written like that, but the meaning is same. So in the external features of mammary gland, we are going to study skin. It consists of nipple and areola. Let's see what nipple is. It is a blackish conical projection of skin situated in the fourth intercostal space. It is pierced by 10 to 15 lactiferous ducts and contains smooth muscles. Okay, then areola. It is circular blackish discoloration around the nipple. It contains plenty of modified sebaceous glands which enlarge during pregnancy and are called tubercles of Montgomery. These secrete oily secretion which lubricates and prevents cracking of the skin over the nipple. It is devoid of hair and fat. Let me explain you it in detail what is the meaning of lactiferous ducts. You know lactose, so the name is given based on that, lactiferous ducts, and you know the meaning of ducts also. So the lactiferous ducts are the milk carrying tubes of the mammary gland. They carry milk from the milk producing glands. Which are milk producing glands? We call it alveoli. Okay, so lactiferous ducts are ducts that transport milk from the mammary gland to the nipple. The word alveoli is used in both lungs and mammary glands because the term describes a small sac-like structure. The singular word is alveolus and plural is alveoli. Meaning of alveolus: small cavity or a small hollow sac. In lungs, alveoli are air-filled sacs. In mammary gland, alveoli are milk-secreting sacs. Function differs accordingly. In lungs, function is gas exchange, and in mammary gland, the function is milk production. So, name is same because shape is similar, but function is different. Easy way to understand it is, it's a tiny sac-like structures. In lungs they contain air, while in mammary glands they contain milk producing cells. So don't confuse it. Though in anatomy name is same, but in physiology means function is different. So lactiferous ducts, let's go back to the lactiferous ducts, are ducts that transport milk from the mammary gland to the nipple. So lactiferous ducts, how they work, they carry milk. But how they carry milk? They carry milk from the milk producing glands. So which are the milk producing glands? Alveoli. Okay. So from alveoli they carry milk to the nipple. Why smooth muscles are there in mammary glands? Why? Huh? This question may be arising in your mind. Let me explain you. Smooth muscles are present in the mammary gland mainly around the nipple and areola. Their main functions, let me tell you. First, make the nipple erect. Second, help in milk feeding. So, when nipple is stimulated by cold, touch, sexual stimulation, suckling, then the smooth muscles contract and they cause erection of the nipple. This helps the body latch during breastfeeding. Then help in milk feeding. How they help? Contraction of smooth muscle around ducts and nipple. They compress the ducts slightly, facilitate milk flow during suckling. So, what is important to remember? These smooth muscles are not the main milk producing tissue. Milk is produced by glandular cells. We have seen its name, alveoli. So, smooth muscles in the mammary gland help in erection of the nipple and assist breastfeeding. Now the areola. It is circular blackish discoloration around the nipple. It contains plenty of modified sebaceous glands. Why they are present? First, lubrication. They secrete an oily substance that keeps the nipple and areola soft, prevents dryness and cracking. Second, protection during breastfeeding. During suckling, the nipple undergoes friction. Sebaceous secretions help reduce irritation, protect the skin from damage and infection. Third, they help the baby during feeding. The secretion may produce a mild smell that helps the newborn locate the nipple. So, sebaceous glands in the areola secrete oily material that lubricates and protects the nipple during breastfeeding. Now, which enlarge during pregnancy and are called tubercles of Montgomery. Why the name Montgomery is given? Because after William Featherstone Montgomery, an Irish doctor who described these structures. Meaning of the words tubercle is a small rounded swelling or bump, and Montgomery is the name of the doctor who described them. So tubercles of Montgomery means small raised bumps described by Montgomery. They secrete oily secretion which lubricates and prevents cracking of the skin over the nipple. It is devoid of hair and fat. It means there are no hair and no fat. If in case fats or hairs are present, it is the indication of pathology. So, you have seen the normal anatomical structure of the skin of the mammary gland, that is breast. You have seen that nipple is there and areola is there. Now we will study the glandular part and the stroma. Stroma is divided into two, fibrous and fatty. We have already seen parenchyma of the mammary gland is the milk producing glandular part of the breast. So, parenchyma is the functional working tissue and stroma is the supporting tissue. So, in glandular part, what we have written, it consists of alveoli, lactiferous duct, and dilated part called lactiferous sinus. And in fibrous stroma, it consists of fibrous septa, which extends from skin to the deep fascia and divides gland into 10 to 15 lobes by ligament of Cooper. And in fatty stroma, we have written it lies between septum and glandular part. Now, let me explain you separately. Parenchyma doesn't consist of fibrous and fatty stroma. Parenchyma is the functional glandular tissue. It consists of alveoli, ducts, lobules, and stroma is the supporting tissue. We have already seen it that there are two types, fibrous stroma and fatty stroma. So the mammary gland, that is breast, as a whole, okay, as a whole consists of glandular part, that is parenchyma, then fibrous stroma and fatty stroma. So the stroma meaning supporting framework or supporting tissue of an organ. So what we learned, the mammary gland breast as a whole consists of glandular part, fibrous stroma, fatty stroma. That's why while writing notes we have written it into three options, that is glandular, fibrous and fatty. Now let me explain you first sentence. It consists of alveoli, lactiferous duct and dilated part called lactiferous sinus. Let me tell you what is the meaning of alveoli. Alveoli, they are nothing but milk making balloons. Imagine it like this. These are tiny sac like structures where milk is made. Okay, so think like small milk factories. They produce milk and store a little milk. Then lactiferous ducts. They are nothing but a milk pipes. These are tubes that carry milk from the alveoli towards the nipple. Think milk transport pipes. Then lactiferous sinus, milk storage room. Near the nipple, the duct becomes slightly wider and stores a small amount of milk before feeding. So think like this small milk storage tank. So how will you remember? Milk is made in alveoli, carried by lactiferous ducts, stored briefly in lactiferous sinus, then comes out through nipple. So, alveoli, they are nothing but milk making balloons. Lactiferous ducts are the milk pipes, and lactiferous sinus is the milk storage room. And how that milk comes out through the nipple. So, very important, alveoli, they make milk, ducts they carry milk, and sinus they store milk. So remember it like this. So glandular part, it consists of what? Alveoli, lactiferous duct and dilated part, we call it lactiferous sinus. So glandular part is consist of three things. Three. Which are these? Alveoli, lactiferous duct, lactiferous sinus. Now let me explain you the second sentence, fibrous stroma. It consists of fibrous septa which extend from skin to the deep fascia and divides gland into 10 to 15 lobes. Okay, so skin to deep fascia means what? Deep fascia is nothing but a covering over muscles. It is deep to the superficial fascia. Superficial fascia is above the deep fascia. Okay, and deep fascia is above the muscles. So deep fascia is a covering over the muscles. Over is the better word to describe it. So while going inside, they divide the breast into 10 to 15 parts, and for parts we have used lobes. Okay, so these fibrous bands are called ligaments of Cooper. So in fibrous trauma, while writing an answer, you must remember ligament of Cooper. Now think about the pizza slices. The partitions separating the pieces are like the fibrous septa. Septa यानी कि क्या? It is separating ना. So fibrous septa. It is called ligaments of Cooper. Why the name ligaments of Cooper is given? The name ligaments of Cooper is given after Astley Cooper, the English anatomist and surgeon who described these fibrous bands in the breast. Ligaments is the strong supporting bands, and Cooper means name of the doctor who described them. So ligaments of Cooper means the supporting fibrous bands described by Cooper. These ligaments help support the breast, maintain its shape, divide the breast into lobes. They are called suspensory ligaments of the breast. So in fibrous trauma, you must remember that it consists of fibrous septa which extend from skin to the deep fascia and divides gland into 10 to 15 lobes by ligament of Cooper. And the third point was fatty stroma. It lies between septum and glandular part. Now let me explain you its meaning. Fatty stroma lies between septum and glandular part means soft fat tissue fills the spaces between the supporting walls and the milk making glands. So inside the breast, soft fat acts like cushion filling between the supporting bands and the milk making parts. It makes the breast soft and gives it shape.